Thanks for joining me here on Tropical Weather Impact. It's Tuesday, July 22nd. We're in the midst of a heat wave here across a big chunk of the deep south, including New Orleans. The next 2 days, heat is our primary headline, but we are going to be watching this tropical disturbance moving through the northern Gulf bring us some rain and eventually some relief from this big-time heat wave. So here's what we're covering in the New Orleans, Louisiana, and Mississippi areas. Our heat advisories in effect today. We're talking heat index numbers over 110 at times. I do think Wednesday also brings a pretty big risk for heat. Extreme heat watch in effect that could be upgraded to an extreme heat warning. That's as heat index numbers get closer and closer to 113 or maybe even higher. And so a bit more than our typical summertime heat here. This is that dangerous stuff.
Hey, honey, I'm gonna vacuum.
To working out in it. Brings better chances of rain for Texas by the end of this week too. And so the thing we're thinking right now is organization that this doesn't seem very likely. I do think it looks similar to what we saw last week where organization didn't happen and we just had a broad low pressure. The only difference with this round is we've got this upper level low tangled up in it too, and that's not necessarily going to help this thing wrap up into anything. Mississippi, and really along the entire Gulf Coast from Louisiana to Florida, you will have passing showers Wednesday afternoon. Hopefully, it brings you a little relief from the intense heat. Fast forward in motion, you can see there's still just a broad, unorganized low, but probably a low pressure here nonetheless, and things are still passing through the northern parts of the Gulf here with the heaviest of the rain down in the central Gulf and closer to that broad low pressure. So this is a sign that you've got the upper level low and you've got some wind shear keeping this thing rather messy and unorganized. So that's why development chances just don't look all that impressive right now. Fast forward into Thursday into Friday, you've got that broad low pressure still spinning across the Gulf and pushing towards Texas. So this would bring a better shot of rain towards Texas by the end of the week. I think Friday and Saturday for areas around Houston, that's when you'll start to see a better shot of those tropical showers. Here in Louisiana, again, not every day is a complete washout, but I think there will be passing showers each and every day. Luckily, that'll hold temperature down. Also, there will be more clouds, too. So the way it stands right now, the flood risk, it's not off the charts here. I don't want you stressing too much here. I mean, we're talking about what we usually do in the Wednesday or excuse me, Friday and into Saturday. So that's when that chance of rain will begin to increase across parts of Texas. The organization of this, it just doesn't look overly impressive. We can look at a lot of different guidance here. The GFS and European models are our two global models, and they are showing a very unorganized, kind of blotchy mess here. And so wherever you see all these little red circles and yellow or green circles, that's the model showing that this thing remains broad and isn't able to consolidate and come together probably. And so this means it would just be an unorganized low. And you can see by Friday morning, we may have an unorganized low somewhere south of Louisiana, continuing to push off towards Texas. Yeah, that still brings some rain, but you're not talking about a named storm. You're certainly not talking about a hurricane with this instance per se. We always say, it's
okay,
hurricane
babe.
season, though.
I'm done now.
We want to check in at least once a day to see how things are evolving, but concern level again is about as low as it can get with this one, just like it was for last week. Again, the water temperatures, they're plenty warm. Whenever you look at them in the Gulf here, everyone always wants to see these. I got news for you. Water temperatures are never a problem in the Gulf as we get into the heart of hurricane season. Now, sometimes you have some really hot water temperatures, but this is never going to be a limiting factor for a tropical system in the Gulf here all the way through October. I mean, we've had major hurricanes in late October here, and water temperatures were in the mid-80s. So just to reflect that, yeah, water temperatures are warm enough, but you got to have other ingredients here. And they are quite warm. Maybe you've got plans to go to the beach. We're sitting in the upper 80s to even near 90 off the coast of Louisiana, the coast of Florida, sitting in the upper 80s as well. Notice down by Key West, sitting down at about 89 degrees. Elsewhere in the tropics, things don't look terribly active right now. I think we're probably going to see a lull in at least anything significant trying to develop for the next couple of weeks. There are some signs that the atmosphere will start to become more conducive for tropical development in early August. Newsflash, that's not shocking either as we get into the peak of the season, but I think we're going to have, and we're going to be okay. Nothing significant trying to develop at least anytime soon. Right now, what we're watching was Invest 94. That feature doesn't look like it's going to do anything either. It's battling wind shear and dry air already, and what they were calling Invest 94, they're not even calling that anymore as it lifts towards the island. So you can see there south of Puerto Rico, down the Lesser Antilles Islands, getting ready for some scattered showers as this tropical wave pushes on through, but it's pushing through at a steady rate. Wind shear is too high, dry air is too predominant, and that's why it's just not going to develop into much of anything. And in fact, when you look at the dust here with this thing, the feature is sitting about here. That is not its friend, and so that's one of the reasons it's probably not going to do much. In fact, a lot of the islands are probably going to see a lot of dusty skies here over the next couple of days as this long fetch of Saharan dust. I mean, this thing extends all the way from the Caribbean nearly back to the continent of Africa, so we've had some fairly healthy burst of Saharan dust, creating a stable atmosphere, a dry atmosphere out here where nothing can really develop much into anything. So where we stand right now, we've had three named storms, Andrea, Barry, and Chantal. We have not had Dexter. We've had a couple Invest in a couple areas that we thought might do it, but they did not. So Dexter and Aaron are still our next